That's true.
And I'm sorry, it's kind of towards my back. I'll turn a little bit.
Oh, no, you're fine.
And then I'm going to start this too.
People start
I'm crazy like that.
So they started doing it really early.
That's right.
I didn't expect you to come down.
I'm so glad to see you. Thank you. So we're going to see how this goes, but we're also
I can peek
videotaping.
and make sure
So hopefully,
Good.
I just posted it. I
Looks
was going
good.
to just try. He hooked it
Yeah.
straight to the
That looks good.
internet, but that even timed out today. Our internet is horrible here, so we can't live stream. Like, it's just been a nightmare. So just leave it. So we're gonna see what. Oh, the CenturyLink is good. Ours is Xfinity, but it doesn't. I mean, it's bad. Yeah, you know. What are you gonna do? Fire your IT guy. I was joking with my husband. That's what he does. I told him, I was like, I am firing our IT guy. He was like, please do. Please fire me. So, thank you guys for coming tonight. I know December is crazy. I'm glad we could fit this in. As you can see, we're pretty busy and it's just growing more and more. So, we'll probably be doing another one of these the very beginning of January. We are videotaping and hopefully live streaming to have it recorded in the meantime, but hopefully we'll be doing these once a month for a while at least. And it's just a good way to kind of get everybody on the same page and then duplicate that way, and it saves you guys a little bit of time. So I appreciate you coming, and hopefully will not be 9. I'm assuming we'll probably be done for 8:30. I just allowed that for questions or things that can come up because with new, I would say new hire. When I worked with the airlines, that's what we called our, and that's what I trained as new hire classes. So when I say new hire, I mean new consultant training, but that's what we hope that you guys will have questions that we can answer tonight and get it all out. So first, I'd really quick like to go around and kind of just say how you were introduced to Arbonne, where you're at, how long you've been with Arbonne, or how long since you've signed up, and what you're most excited about right now for it. So, Shannon, do you want to start?
Sure. Shannon Milliken, I've been with Arbonne for about 14 months, 15 months. Area manager, and what I'm most excited about is really all the momentum that we're in, and it's kind of like wildfire right now. And it's funny because my other friend's coming, and she's got a 9-month-old too, but not with her, I don't think. But it seems like I met Kelsey once in person, and she decided to do the business, and it's that kind of, people are recognizing the opportunity that we all have and what great products and business opportunity that we have. So, hand it over to Kelsey.
I'm Kelsey Bradshaw, I guess now. I think it's been less than a week.
Yeah.
Less than a week.
Awesome.
I met her in a group on Facebook. I was looking for organic products to use on my kids, and she messaged me and started telling me all about Arbonne, and I got really excited and kind of jumped on.
Awesome. Good. That's great.
My name's Athena, and I've been with Arbonne now this will be my 3rd month, and so
Congratulations, by the way, to Athena, who completed district in her 2nd month. So,
thanks.
so new district.
So I think I'm really excited. Like, it's just going really fast, probably almost too fast for me at points where I'm nervous to do too much more. So, but I think it's a good problem too, and it's exciting to have that as a problem. And so we'll see what happens. I think there's just opportunities ahead, so it's exciting.
That's great.
I'm Polly. I started back in May, and I am super excited about the cruise because when I signed up for it, I did not think I was going on that. I was like, that's for like MVPs, and I didn't think it applied to me. But I think I'm gonna get it. Like, I'm gonna go on that cruise, and I'm super excited. So
That's awesome. And Polly also earned her district manager bonus this month. So,
and I'm so excited that Grace is here. Grace is my new business mother, and I'm really excited that she's here. She came all the way from Breckenridge.
yes, that's very big. Shows
is big.
I'm glad you're here. Yay, congrats.
I'm Christy, and I was just calculating, it's been 6 months. I didn't even see
Oh
that.
wow, that's so fast.
Yes, it went very, very fast. And am most excited about what is coming my way. Just not knowing what the future is, knowing that it's going to be great, and that's what I'm most excited about.
Not
So
the
many-
mundane jobs.
So many unknowns, but positive unknowns for me and for our family.
Excited too. Yay.
My name is Jihan, and I was also calculating, I don't know, since you signed up or since you decided to, build a business, so
Yeah.
for 3 months, you got it, 2 weeks.
Yeah. She was like, who knows?
And I was thinking what I'm most excited about, maybe every day I get out of my comfort zone, a minute at a time. And then you just kind of excited about the cruise. It's like, I'm excited about the cruise too. I don't even know the requirements, but it sounds good.
Well, we'll get you on
At
that.
least.
We'll meet and get you on that, Gina. But that is so true. I mean, it's awesome just embracing the journey, getting out of the comfort zone. That's
Right.
totally me, and that was huge. And so fun to not be stuck in the same mundane place you already go. I love that. So, yay.
I'm Grace, and I got introduced to Arbonne by Pauline's stepmom at a swimming pool.
Awesome.
And I've been almost a month now, not quite.
Great.
So, but I'm really excited to have my first party and really just jump in and get started.
It's a great month for her.
She's also in qualification.
Yay.
Yes.
I love it. This is so fun. Everybody's like in qualification or qualifying.
I'm Wendy, and I've been actively building my business for about 2 years. It's hard to articulate what I'm excited about. What I love is the excitement. I'm excited about the excitement and watching my friends like Claire, like just, I don't know. I just love watching everybody else
Get to do what you like. This becomes so much more, and this is what it is all about, is that team concept. As people think you're in it for you, like making money, and that's the educational part, is like it becomes so much bigger than that, that you want it 10 times more for somebody else than you do. And my favorite thing is that Wendy almost first stepped region this month, which is the car. So we are so excited. And what I love is that team concept of, yes, Wendy's like below me, but I'm not even thinking about that. I'm like, I can't wait for you to get that car, and she's getting ready to also quit her job.
I put in my 3 weeks notice too.
So those are the things, like, it's so much better to watch somebody be able to leave a job that they don't want to be in and to be at that car and just the freedom, what the car represents, not really, the car doesn't hurt.
I'm most excited about spending my afternoons with Charlie because it's the last year Beaver goes to first grade. And I get to spend my afternoons with him now instead of being on the computer at my job.
But see, so the beauty of this is the full circle too, like Polly's and Claire and Shannon, they're all on Wendy's team, and I love this. Is Wendy called me, I called Wendy, and I was like, do you realize how close you are? And she's like, oh my gosh. I said, you need to call your team and you need to tell them, because that's the fun of this. And she's like, I don't want to call my team. And I'm like, no, you need to call your team. They don't know, that you're that close, and how many of us.
I sure hope you didn't miss it by the person who signed up by somebody else.
No.
That would really.
No. It wasn't that. It was close, but having a team push all at once. And then I love how Wendy was like, yeah, Claire's texting me, Polly's texting me, and in pushing, you finish district and you hit your district manager bonus. And that is team. Like, by Wendy opening her mouth and saying, this is what I'm gonna do, it motivated you to reach your goals. And it's all a team effort. So everybody wins, but region is so fun. I'm so excited. So we will have a car presentation soon. Hurry up, Wendy. And team. No pressure. But I love it. So Kathy, sorry.
Yeah, I'm Kathy. I just signed up probably 2 weeks ago. And so through my friend Jessica, who is also very new, and so she and Wendy talked to me about the business, and I just decided to kind of take a leap and do it. I already, work full time and don't have any time for anything extra, so it was really just a stressful decision to do this, but I also know that I need something. I need to make a change in my life, and this is a great opportunity, hopefully, for me to to make it better.
In qualification.
Yay! I'm so excited because those are what I love hearing. Like that's the same thing as when Wendy came in. That same thing. I don't have time. I don't have time. I have kids. I have a job. To be able to see that come around, you'll be right on the tails of it. Exciting.
I'm
Also
Jamie.
in qualification.
Been around or signed up about a month
or so ago.
and I think I'm just excited because I'm very focused on, like you said, the team building as well as just seeing everyone else how they build and kind of working on it.
Super excited. Fast.
I'm Claire. I've been in Arbonne for almost a year. When's
Crazy.
Really?
It
Yeah.
goes so fast.
I'm a district manager again. Sorry. And
Beauty.
I am excited about just possibility of it all, and I don't know. My hubby mostly. I love that guy. I take care of him.
Yeah, good.
So.
Be a sugar mama.
What's that? I'm gonna be a sugar mama. I'm gonna drive them around in my wet Mercedes.
That's right.
Handing $100 bills.
But I mean, all of this, and I think once everybody sees, the farther you go along, the more you see this. Like you were saying, the team and the family and all of it. Like, it is a family affair for us, you know, all of our kids. I'm like, okay, kids, November and December is going to be crazy because we have so many new people, and they're like, all right, it's awesome. Like, they're excited. And they get to spend time, you know, with my husband, and they get to be a part of this. It is a family thing, and they know, I mean, they probably could tell you most of your names. I know they know, like, they know Shannon. They know every manager pretty much and who they belong to. So it's just, it's fun, you know, that all of it is just a win-win for everybody. It grows everybody. It brings you closer. You get to help other people as they're helping you. And that's what this is all about, you know. And we're going to talk more about looking for those people. But we are building a team. And that's the big thing, is when I'm out there looking for people, you know, I used to interview for my job with the airlines, and we were selective. You know, that's what you're doing right now. I can remember sitting in rooms of like hundreds of people and going through people and thinking, okay, that's a no, that's a no. And I want us to get in that same mindset of, who am I looking for? If you don't know, I mean, yes, we're going to put this out there to everybody, and I will help anybody sign up. But for my team, when I'm thinking about my multi-million-dollar business, I am selective. And I'm like, oh, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for team players. I'm looking for somebody I would want to be around. I'm looking for those people that are like, how can I help? You know, that you're either you're getting givers or takers. There's two people. And I'm looking for a team of givers, because once they get that paycheck and they get this opportunity, what are they going to do with it? You know, when you get those people that are like pushing and you're like, oh my gosh, like you guys texting and stuff, it's like, I want to do this. It's so fun. And you want to build that team of people that are coming alongside you. So we're going to talk a little bit more about how to do that. Tonight we won't go over the specifics of how to do a party, how to do those things, because you will see those with your upline or your sponsors. That's kind of a as-you-go thing. But tonight, we're kind of just going to talk about how to get yourself started, if you haven't yet, how to get yourself started, creating a big why, which is huge because that's what this business is all about, how to share the opportunity, and how to get others started successfully. So it's getting yourself started successfully, getting them started, and then duplication and how that works and what it kind of looks like. So it'll be a lot of information. Feel free throughout to just yell at me and stop and ask questions, because I really want you guys to. I always hate it because I feel like I've talked so much throughout the night that I want to hear from you guys too. But first of all, just how to get started successfully. A lot of you have placed your first orders and you've gotten started, and some of you haven't. But I want to go over, really, this is, in my whole business, I'm education driven. So I always want to know a why behind what I'm doing. I've always been like that. You know, I can deal with the, tell me the worst of a situation and tell me why we have to do this, and then I can do it. I just want to know everything. I want to be educated for all of it so I know what I'm facing. And that's really what I want you guys to get used to in this, is we're just educating people. So when you go to sign up, most new people don't know what they're doing. If I tell you, go out and buy $1,000 retail of product, you're like, what? Why? It makes no sense to me. But if you lay out the importance of that, and you know the reasoning behind getting product, then you go, oh, that makes sense. I want to start my franchise right, or my business right. And then you're going to pass that along later. But for you, I'll just tell you what I tell my new people is, it is just like a franchise. If I was going to open a McDonald's, I want everything available that I need to make the food that I have, or to get the product out to people. It's the same thing with this. Yes, you can sign up without product, but it is much harder. And my goal is to make this journey as fast, as successful, and as enjoyable as possible for my new people. So I am doing this a disservice, and the reason I tell you all this is, again, I've been with the business 11 years, and I've done it every way you can imagine. So I've been one of those people that was like, oh, you don't have to sign up for anything. Really, you don't have to spend a penny. I just want you to know you don't have to get anything. And I would keep saying that, and now I'm like, why did I ever say that? Because I'm handicapping them. I'm setting them up to fail if I am telling them, no, really, don't buy anything. So now I lay out the best way to get started, and I'm like, where do you see yourself? What can you do? I really feel like it's worth their investment of whatever they can get, and if that's, just signing up for the regular fee, then I'm like, that's fine, but we're gonna have to work harder to earn your product and to get you your setup and to get you what you need. But if people have to, wherever they can afford it, even sometimes if that's charging or whatever and paying it back to yourself, it is worth that initial investment, so that you know every product, you've used it, you've tried it. We always say that if you haven't used a product in the catalog, you might as well put an X through it, because it's really hard to sell a product you don't know anything about. So I want people to get product on them. And that's the importance of when we sit down with people, I want you to grasp that, is you're not trying to convince them to buy product, you're helping them set up a business. You're helping them set up a storefront. So really be careful with your mindset, even if you couldn't afford that in the beginning, because what I would do is then I'd be like, oh, well, when I first started, I was young, had young kids, I couldn't afford it. So then I'd present it that way. Oh, well, I'm assuming they can't purchase product, or they won't purchase product. And so again, I'm hurting them instead of saying, here's what most people do, or here's what we suggest, and letting them make that decision. It's the same with the business. So really knowing that startup order, how important that is for you and for everybody else. And then realizing, that you're becoming a product of the product. So I want to use everything. I want to know how it works. And I will tell you that there may be products where I'm like, I'm not used to that one yet. But you will not, or it might not be something I absolutely love. That's not what I'm sharing with people. I have a testimonial for every product in the catalog. But you want to remember that this is your business. So I cringe sometimes when I listen to new people do parties or tell people about products, and they're like, oh, I really don't know if I like this one. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this is your product. This is your business. It would be like owning a store and having people come in and go, oh, don't really buy this one because I don't love it. But you can look at, that's ridiculous. Or representing, working for Coke and trying to sell Pepsi to somebody. It's the same thing. You have to watch everything that comes out of your mouth. That's with your business builders and with your parties. So if there's a product that I don't love, I will try and find a testimonial for it. Or I'll say, this is what they say it's great at, or this is what most people love about it. But they're not going to hear me say anything negative about the company or about the products. It's kind of like your family member. I'm sure we can find fault in something or anything, but it will not come out of my mouth. So make sure that you do that, and as well with your family and your spouses. They don't want to have you come home and hear you complain about how a party went or how something went bad, or then they're going to try and talk you out of doing it. They want you to be happy. So I try and find the positives and share the positives, and it helps you as well to go, oh, well, this is what went well at the event, not what went wrong or what I didn't like. focus on the good things and move forward with it. So do you guys have questions on the placing the orders or representing the products? No? Good. So first of all, when they sign up, I do have them place their order and then start their list, which we've talked about. These are the 3 absolutes: placing their order, starting their 100-person list, and booking their calendar. I don't care what else they do with this business. I don't care how their books look. I don't care how their office looks. I don't care if they have business cards. I don't care about anything else other than placing your order, making your list, and booking your calendar. Because that's how they will see success. That's how you'll see success. So for me personally, every single month, I do the same thing. I open up my calendar, I see how many dates I have, and if I don't have 8 to 10, I get on the phone until I do. And that's an absolute. I know that will show success. You know, I just had somebody getting started ask me, well, have you seen somebody sign up and not see success? And I said, I have, when they didn't follow the system. You know, they're like, I've been working so hard. And I'm like, well, let's see your calendar or your events. And that could be on email or the phone or reading or listening to stuff. That's not the work part. We just want those 8 events. And those can look totally different. We'll go over them later. But I try and have 8 events on my calendar at all times. And the 100-person list should be ongoing. I have it in every notebook I have. And that could be somebody I just bumped into. I'm like, ooh, I like the Starbucks lady, or I like the teller at the bank, or I like the King Soopers checker. Whatever it is, they can go on my list. But I'm adding to my list probably weekly of somebody that pops into my brain. You know, a family member that I haven't talked to for a long time, or a friend from high school or college will pop into my brain. I'm like, oh, I need to put their name down. I don't call them that day and be like, oh my gosh, you have to hear about this business I'm doing. I know I haven't talked to you in 20 years, but I really want you to hear about it. And they're like, yeah, you want to make money off me. But I will call them, and this is where you can role play with your upline. How do you call them? You know, once you have that list, then you could say, this is a person I have. What would you suggest? And I just start by reconnecting, and that's the great thing of getting out of my comfort zone. There was a lot of people I hadn't seen in forever, and I just started reconnecting. And let it fall where it may. I waited until it was the right timing or it came up, and then maybe present the business. And sometimes it didn't. So just make sure you have that 100-person list going, and then I star those top people. So your first 30 days are your most important days. And if your first 30 days didn't go like you like them and you've been doing the business for a while, start over. This is your new first 30 days. And what I do, and I still, again, I do this every month. I pretend I'm brand new every single month. And so in my first 30 days, I fold out my calendar and I look at what I have that I'm already committed to, my faith, my family, and my friends, and then I fill in the dates that I have left, where I want to work and where I'm willing to work. And for me, like Christmas time, I work usually my first 15 days, but this month usually maybe up to the 19th. And then I'll start the 26th again. Not this month because we're going out of town, but normally that's what I do. So I work right up as close as I can till Christmas, then I kind of take like a week off at least. And then start again right away. So I want to make sure that I fit in 8 dates in there somewhere, before or after. And dates or events, I stay away from using the word party as much as I can, because when you say party, everybody has a mental picture of what it's going to be like. Any party they've ever been to, or a party they've heard about. But they've never been to your party or your event. So I don't want them to have a preconceived idea at all. So call it whatever you want. You know, just get some friends over. Just don't use the word party. They don't like that. So I try and get those 8 dates on the calendar, however that will look. And then again, being creative. Just, I know Christy was saying at one of her events that she did, it was at the school and they had a tasting night and she did a lot of those protein balls. Did you say I made some protein balls? No. You're proud of me. So she made a bunch of them and everybody loved them, and they were asking her to make them protein balls. And we were talking, so we were like brainstorming and saying you could do like a make the protein balls night. Bring some people over, they buy a bag of protein, you do some recipes, you make them together and you still present the opportunity. Everything looks the same. You could call it whatever you want or label it whatever you want. But for me, every event I do looks almost exactly the same. All the same information is presented. So if somebody wants a pamper night, call it a pamper night. Throw in a foot soak, whatever you have to do. But it still is your typical event. Does that make sense? January will be huge, so this is a way to book these. Starting right after Christmas, we call them a new year, new you, and we will be sending out invites for that later, but it's not difficult. Call your friends and be like, oh my gosh, we have this amazing, successful detox, clean eating type program. If you get some friends together and come over, I'll offer a huge discount for your group of friends and just go over what it is and see if they're interested. And let them do that. Book as many of those New Year, New Yous as you can right after Christmas. That's when everybody's going to be looking for it. Saying we'll start up in January, you can get your products in December, and I'll offer a deep discount. So those are really good parties. Cookie parties at Christmas time. Again, I don't care what they are. Drop your kids off, come over before Christmas, hang out, relax, socialize. It's a party too, presentation. So, but I want to cram in those 30 days as many things as I can. So with most of my new people, they'll book their 8 dates, but then whatever else they can throw in, as many as I can do in those 30 days, I will help them do. So if that's like, hey, I have some friends, could you get on a 30-minute call and do a call with me? And I'll just get on the phone and we'll do a 30-minute opportunity call. And hey, do we need another chair too? We have some toys too, Kelsey, if you want some, let Kennedy know.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
He's mobile.
But we can grab some little baby toys, stuffies and stuff. So, I'm sorry, hi.
Hi.
What was your name?
Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
And how did you guys meet?
We've known each other for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Because of our babies.
Our kids.
A mom's group, but she's the one who signed up under somebody else.
I'm glad you guys caught it. That's so crazy.
I feel bad because I didn't add her. Like, we have a group on Facebook that you would have been getting information from, but I'm like, I told her there's a prerequisite to the Getting Started meeting. We have to sign you up. She's like, I am.
I already did that. I don't understand.
It was actually under some other ID number completely, so they're gonna fix
But
it.
And I didn't know because the email was in my spam, so I never.
Oh my God.
I never saw it. Never caught it.
I'm so glad you guys caught it, especially now that it didn't go on too long. So, well, I'm glad you came. Glad you're here, and you're at the right team. So again, my goal for somebody in those first 30 days is to make them as successful as I can, so their story is really good, so they can say, I went into qualification in my first 30 days, or I finished district manager, or whatever that looks like. And so we would do some phone calls if that was a 30-minute opportunity call, coffee dates. Athena's girls this month have been crazy with just play date, coffee dates. They would call, hey, can you do tomorrow at 10? And I'm like, sure. We do them over here, we do them there. I'm like, as many things as we can get in those 30 days, let's do it. So your job is just to tell the story. That's what I want people to do for those 30 days. And I help them do that until their story is strong enough or until they're most comfortable with their own story. So that's what we call your why story or your I story. And what I want you guys to get from this is your why story or your I story, either one, should make people feel something. You can give them, I could sit here and read from the catalog and you guys would fall asleep. And that's how most one-on-ones or opportunities end up sounding when you're new. You're just spouting off facts at somebody and they're like, we don't understand why people aren't signing up with us. Or why they're not getting this opportunity, or they're completely glazed over. There are products out there everywhere. Our products are top of the line, and I'll get to that later with them. And I'll tell them that. Our products are unmatched. You can't find better, and I'll tell you more about that later. But let me tell you about this life-changing opportunity. That's what people want to be a part of. Not soap, shampoo, weight loss. That's secondary, and it will come, and that's your extra bonus by joining that, but that's a vehicle. So for me, my goal is to share this life-changing opportunity with as many people as I can, all the time. And I know that you guys are new and you haven't fully grasped it yet, and that's why I like you to do this with your upline or somebody that has, as if possible. We call it borrowing their belief. Until you've seen how life-changing this is, it can be hard to be convicting, but don't underestimate it. When I first started and I was excited, I would call my girlfriends. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm totally excited. No idea what we're doing, but this will be fun. Come see. And they do. It's the excitement in you. It's not what you're doing or what you're presenting. So if I'm calling people and I'm like, oh, you should join this business with me. It's a great business. We've been around since 19. They're like, no, thank you. Nobody wants to be a part of that. But that's why I asked you what you're excited about. You can have a compelling I story or Y story without a Mercedes, without a paycheck. If you've been in this business 3 days, you can have a compelling I story. It's what you say. It's what you felt when you went to your first meeting or opportunity that made you go, that little, and I think if you guys think back, that everybody should be able to remember that. That one feeling that you felt that made you go, I might take a look at this. Because I think we would all safely say, none of us thought we would do this. I know I never did. Is there anybody in here that really thought ahead of time? I'm like, I've never met anybody that pictured their self selling skincare, cosmetics, nutrition. I mean, that just wasn't on my radar. And it isn't on most. But what you felt, other people will feel and connect with and identify with as well. So when you say, I am so excited, just like Jihan said, just to get out of my comfort zone. I'm excited to grow. I'm excited at the opportunity with something new. I'm excited that this is something besides just being a mom, which is great. Kennedy, by the way. My daughter's over there. It's awesome. But I'm like, you want you as well. She already knows. She could do this opportunity with her eyes closed. But I want people, and I see it in them, and I want you to learn that too. So when you're sitting in front of people, I want you to see them 2 years down the road, or 5 years down the road, or imagine them quitting their job, getting a Mercedes, having the freedom to make the choices they want, taking those vacations, and help them see that. That's where you're going to connect with people. So my biggest goal when I go to a party or an event or whatever you want to call it, or a one-on-one, is not to try and sell that person something. My goal is to connect with them, a heart connection. So when I leave a party, I can tell you this almost everybody's first party, I could tell at least one person in that party who it was. And I'll say, that was the person. That's the one I connected with. And that was my whole goal when I went. The sales and all the other stuff, those are just bonuses added on to that business builder that I have the potential to work with and change their life. So I want you to really realize this gift that you're holding, because then you will present it completely different. If I'm like, I don't want to tell people because I don't want them to think they have to sign up, or I don't want them to think I'm trying to get them to do something. No, you're doing something for these people. It is very similar, I've said 1,000,000 times, to having a cure to cancer or something that big and saying, look, I have this opportunity for you. You hate your life, you hate your job, you're miserable, whatever that is, let me help you. And that's the business. So that's what I want you to do in those first 30 days and throughout your entire journey, is listen to people and see where they're needing something.
You just made me think of something, because I'm leaving for my mom's in Tennessee on Thursday, and I asked my cousin to have a couple of friends over, and he goes, I don't know who to invite. I'm like, well, do you know anybody that would want more money, or they don't like their boss, or they want more vacation? He goes, Shannon, you just named everybody I know.
Right, exactly.
I'm like, okay, I can pick 10.
Exactly. And it's not that they're coming to buy shampoo, soap, conditioner. Those will happen. Yes, those will happen. But I start with the business with everybody. So when we like deliver product or I'm sitting with somebody, if that's one-on-one, I'm like, okay, let me just really quick tell you what I do. I do this, and I say this every time. I say the same thing every time. I tell them that. I just want to tell you what I do. In case you know, it might be for you, it may not, or it might be for somebody you know. But I love this opportunity. I love what I do, and so I share it with everybody I can. And then I share my story in a nutshell. So do you guys have questions on your I story or your Y story? Or? You're so quiet. Remember to try and really find some powerful phrases. When I'm talking about the product or the business, I try and pick out and I stick with just a few phrases that I always use. Life-changing is number one because it has changed my life. It has changed who I am as a person. It's changed, of course, our financial life. It's changed us in every our health. It's changed every aspect of our life, and that's what I tell them. But I start with saying it's life-changing. That's when people listen. And then I just tell them how it's been life-changing for me. Again, whether you've been in 2 days or 2 years. I know, like Athena was saying to her friends, what was it, Athena, how you say it when you were saying that it was just something you were excited about. I can't remember your verbiage again, but it's always so good. And I'll put you on the spot and you
I'm not sure exactly what
you were saying how Luke was saying that you're excited.
Oh, yeah, like I think just being a mom, which I absolutely love being a mom, but being home for a couple of years now, and I do a little work on the side, but it's just kind of bookkeeping, like mundane, nothing exciting, no people interaction, and that's really good for me. So, but stepping into Arbonne and getting back involved with people and being able to, I think, challenge myself. And now all I talk about is Arbonne with Luke almost, and it's probably going to drive him crazy at some point. But he told me a while ago, or a couple weeks ago, it's just so good to see you dreaming again. And it's just fun to see you excited about something again and passionate about it. And so.
And that's Athena's I story right there. That's all she has to say when she sits with her friends. Is Luke said this to me. So find your I story. Sit down tonight when you go home and write that out and tell them, this is what I felt when I first started. This is what I was thinking. I thought, this is crazy. This is nothing I looked at. But then when I started thinking, and this is what I heard, this is what I found. And give them the why. And that's it. That's your I story. But really make sure that that's powerful. And if you're not sure, talk to your upline. Tell them what you think. Write it out. Email it to them. Let them read it. And email it back to you. But you want to get that down good. That's your business. That's it. That's your whole business is your I story. So perfect it. And then figure out ways to say it over and over and over and over in different ways. So for me, again, just getting people to hear that I story and how I do it can always be in different ways. So like if I'm at the pool and somebody says, I work all the time, I don't get enough, oh my gosh, you should do what I do. What do you do? Let's sit down. I'd love to tell you about it.
Also, you guys put it right there.
Not usually. It depends. If I don't think I'll see that person again, then it may come out, but I usually tell them, well, I don't want to, overload you, but I do love what I do. I'll just tell you a little bit, I'd love to get coffee sometime. But I usually try and do the next. And one thing, yeah, right. And I always try and, that's a good point, have a next. Every time I talk to someone, I want to be in front of them or have an action happen within 24 to 48 hours. So if I've said that and I say, well, I want to have coffee, that needs to happen within 24 to 48 hours. And I get that down right then. Let's do coffee. Let's put it on the calendar. When are you available this week? Get it down. And then from that coffee, if they're interested, I say, okay, when are we going to get together again? Let me call you tomorrow at this time. If somebody is interested in the business, I want them signed up within 24 to 48 hours. And we'll talk about that more in just a minute. Don't forget that, because I probably will. But so anyway, kind of back to you. You've perfected your I story, and then just figuring out ways to say it when you're at the pool. Those are all the odds and ends. So I have my 8 dates booked. Those are my solid. And then I add in things here and there. So I listen to people when I'm at the pool, when I'm at school, when I'm talking to friends on the phone. And I drop hints. I don't download on them. And we say that, it's like a fire hose. When we first started, or when you first start, you are so excited that sometimes it is a fire hose of information, and they're like, whoa, you sound like every other person doing a home-based business that I know. And so that's my goal, is to not sound exactly like everybody else. So I will give a little bit, and then I will pull back. And then I'll give a little bit, and then I'll pull back. And I do that a lot. You know, so you kind of want to find a way to let them know, like, yeah, I'd love for you to join my business, but I am not hanging on you joining my business. They need to sense that. They need to feel that. Like, I would love for you to be a part of this, but whether you are or not, I'm going. And then let them go, because that's the way our teams are. You know, you have to have the attitude, I'm going to make it with or without you. I'd love for you to be a part of this, but it doesn't make or break me if you are. It's for you. Any questions on all of that before we go on to the how to get them started?
What about somebody that you've known for a while, they know that you do Arbonne, and maybe you talk to them about it, but you've never like presented it to them? Like, how do you go about doing that without being...
That's a good question.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things that I do, and this is just what works for me. You really have to be you, and you really have to listen to the moment and how it's going. But one thing I will do a lot is play hard to get. A lot. And so I tell myself this, and I take on the air of like, you're lucky if you get to be a part of this. You know, that's what I've got to feel when I'm talking to them.
Yeah.
Because if I'm working out of desperation, they're running from me.
Yes.
Right.
You know, if I'm like, oh my gosh, please do this, they're like freaking me out, you know? So I want them to want to be a part of it. A couple of things I do is I do treat it like a business, and I let them know that I treat it like a business. So I will talk business like with a lot of them. Oh, I have a conference call, I gotta go. You know, or oh, I've gotta get on this Skype event. I'll talk to you later. Or oh, I'm going to this meeting. You know, like I'm using words that I used when I was working before. And then it kind of brings out, what do you do? Oh, I'd love to tell you more. We should get together next week. And sometimes I'll draw that out, depending. I think with Athena we had, I think she asked me like 3 times, and I wasn't intentionally doing this. So
Oh,
it was a little bit different.
Even if you're
I'm just glad you're here, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But for a while, I mean, it was like, I think really Athena asked me like 3 times, really, I do want to know one of these times what you do. And I'm like, okay, I'll totally tell you one time. And then I would change the subject and move on. And so then they're left feeling like, well, what am I missing? You know, like, then they're pulling it out of me instead of me vomiting it on them. That's where I kind of want, and it's hard, and each one is different, you know, so there may be a time where I totally present it. But with friends that have been my friends for a long time, that
They
way-
already know you do it, like that's...
Yeah. And it, you know, it could be saying, oh, I'm super excited, I completed my first management level, you know, and then moving on to, I try and have a few words or phrases that I can move on right away, so that I can say something and then I change it. And they keep trying to bring me back to that topic, and I try and go away from it again. You know, honestly, really, I do that a lot.
Okay.
And because it's for all of us. You know, if it's too easy, unfortunately, people don't want to be a part of it. You know, and that's why I say you kind of have to, you really do have to get that mentality of, I am picky. When I first started, I was desperate, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want everybody to sign up with me.
That was my next question, Kim. Does this attitude come with time? I mean, experience?
Somewhat, but you also really have to realize that you do have something that it would be like having a high-end product and somebody trying to discount it, you know, or something that you have. They're trying to devalue that, and so you have to, in some way, show them that they are lucky to be a part of this. So I am kind of picky with, and especially even now, you know, when people come into my business, like I said, I will sign up anybody and help people, but I've become way more picky. There have been people where I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I want to sign up that one. You know, I mean, there really have been times where I was like, maybe you should see Athena. You know, or, I don't know. I haven't done that yet. But.
That's why you weren't returning my calls.
Yeah, right. But it is, so it's like you have to become that way, and you have to realize that you should be selective in what you're doing. Now, once I've selected, then I'm pretty intentional with those people, and I've got to figure out a way to really get them to see that and make it count. So,
Can I just,
Mhm.
so Claire, with your person that you're thinking about, like, I can see you having that conversation with them and just kind of, but are you also saying, how do I even get to that conversation? How do
Yeah.
I even get, like, is this somebody that you just call and say, I've just been thinking a lot about you, let's go get coffee? And then
Bart,
just
try to
do,
bring him in here. Is he crying?
oh,
Sorry.
do you just, like, connect with them over coffee just to connect with them first?
Yes.
And then it comes into the conversation, whereas like, or would you call them and say, you've been on my mind, I want you to take a peek at this. I know you know that I do Arbonne, I want you to take a peek at it.
Oh,
For
it's
coffee.
mine, I think.
I was like, that is really loud, I'm sorry.
That would be mine, I'm sure. Sorry, mine. Well, do you see them off, I mean, you do see
Well, I mean, I
them?
have several people like that I'm just thinking of that like I know they know that I do this, but I've never like been like, hey, let's go talk because I'm a scaredy cat. And so, but I, like it would be nice to have a way to go about it so that I'm not just floundering and vomiting Arbonne because I don't want to do that either. So.
And there's lots of things, and Wendy, add in on yours that you have if you know them too, or you have other ideas as well. But one thing with that too is kind of holding true to who you are. So like if Wendy is my friend and it is comfortable, and I think you would know where it is, then you would just say, Wendy, we totally need to have lunch. I really want to tell you about this, and it may or may not be for you. That's one of my favorite phrases because it frees me up to be like, this may or may not be for you, and I'm not attached to that. And some people will say, will you promise me that you won't have a problem telling me no if it's not a good fit?
That's what she said to me. That's what she said.
See? So why don't you say that to somebody else? But I think a key in what you said too is, it's my fear. So it's not that you really do with them probably have to play hard to get. It's more where you're at for right now. So
I'm playing hard to get with myself.
right. But that's what I always say. My one that was like stuck with me was when I said that same thing to Cecilia about leadership. I was like, I am fearful about, and she said, fear is selfish. And I was like, whatever. Wait a minute, so that, I don't know if that helps you, but it totally really made me more aware of what I was feeling and why. Like if I was afraid to tell them, that was more because I was afraid of what would happen to me or how I would look or how they would react to me instead of how this could change their life.
Right.
That's a huge shift. And then it does become, I think, more freely like, oh my gosh, like, I have to tell you. And they can feel that, and I don't care I really don't care if you do this or not, but I have to tell you. That's all my part is.
Yeah.
You are not tied to whether they do it or not. You're not tied to whether they're successful or not. That's all up to them.
Right.
But you do owe it to them to share with them, so I don't know if that helps.
So is that
Thanks, Wendy.
a good way to start then, is the one-on-ones? Because I guess for some reason I kind of had in my head that I should have the events where I get a bunch of people together and then you see if anybody's interested in maybe the business aspect. So I had a friend who couldn't come to my event and she said, well, can we just talk about it over coffee or something? And I thought, well, no, I'll invite you to my next event.
No, you would want to do, as soon as somebody has an interest, 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
So if I don't have an event in 24 to 48 hours, then I better be on the phone with them, having them listen to a call, or sitting down with them. So that is a good question, is in those first 30 days, what we try and have you do is write your list, star your top 5 or 10, and we have what we call a dream team. Have those are the ones you're selective with. So have another dream team with those ones. And say, I just want you to come over you know, I want to, whatever you want to say, brainstorm with Wendy, but on like, you know, I just want to practice something on you, or I'm starting this new thing I'm super excited about. And if they start asking questions, I don't answer them. What is it? I'm like, oh my gosh, you just have to come. Way too much information. Just come see.
And do you feel like, I mean, I don't know that I feel like I'm ready to explain it to them
You
on my
wouldn't
own.
be. Your
Yeah.
upline would be.
So I would
Somewhere
have to
in
say,
your
so I'd have to
upline.
say, Wendy, could you come over? And
Right.
my friend's coming over. I said we were going to meet for coffee, but could
Yeah.
you come with us?
Yes.
Because, yeah, I just don't know that I have enough information
Right.
to.
You would not.
So we always say
as
at the
many-
beginning, you can say, I don't wanna mess this up, it's too important, so my friend
Exactly.
Wendy is gonna come, so that, and I'm learning right along with, you know. with
And
you,
then I
so-
guess that's where I kind of feel like I'm pushing them into something more because, you know, we've got 2 people meeting with them and.
But that's your feeling.
Right, exactly.
You know, that's where, again, we're worried about what we're doing to them, as we say, instead of for them.
Right, and that's where my
We're
mindset needs to change
Yeah.
into, this is an opportunity for them versus feeling like I'm trying to sell them something or talk them into something.
Well, and I think for me, I know, I created objections before they ever even happened. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna call Susie and I'm gonna say, we should totally get together. And she's gonna be like, what are you doing? That's, you know, I'm like, I have this whole conversation in my head and I'm like,
Might as well
and
not
I call,
her.
yeah, right, and then I don't call.
I knew it was gonna be
Exactly,
that way.
see, I told you. Instead of, then I pick up the phone and I'm like, Susie, we should totally get together. And I'm like, okay, that'd be great.
Yeah, and I'm totally
Okay.
afraid they're gonna say no.
Right.
Like, I have people I wanna call and I'm like, I still haven't called them because I'm just too.
But
like,
here's the other thing is,
nervous.
but that was big for me, is no is not no. It's not yet, really. But we take objections personally. They're not saying no to you. They're saying no to this opportunity yet. They don't know enough yet. So my job is to figure out how to drip and get them to know more. So, and to not take objections. This was huge for me. When they have an objection, it's actually a positive thing, not a negative thing. It's telling me what they need to know. No? Why? Why won't they meet with me? What is their hesitation? What is their fear? Then let me address that. And then we'll see what they say. And then if they still say no, then I'm gonna invite them. You know, I can move down the line, but normally what I've found is if they say no, and I am not worried about me and like, oh my gosh, okay, they said no, click. You know, I'm like, okay, never mind. Instead of like, why, you know, for instance, if somebody said, you're doing network marketing, instantly, I'm like,
Pyramid
oh my
scheme?
gosh,
Yeah.
like I shut down and I'm thinking,
Of course,
that is so weird. Like they made me feel bad. Instead of me going, no, this is awesome. Like I know how this works. And it's like, yeah, why? What do you think about network marketing? Ask them. They're telling you how to sponsor them. They're telling you what they need to know. So if they say that, then I'm like, well, what do you think about network marketing? Let me correct that. And then if I fully educated them and they still say no, I'm like, they're lost for now. And they'll probably come back around. If not, it's just for now. But I don't take it personally now. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad because they can't see this. That's them. That's not me. But use the objections to find out more and to educate more. Your job is to educate them. Tell them how network marketing really works. And then move on to the next step. Or even by saying, oh my gosh, that's totally what I thought too. Let them say what they thought about network marketing. That's totally what I thought too. That's why we need to sit down. Just sit down with me and hear what I heard. And, you know, you may decide differently, you may not. I'm okay with that. But really just being you and saying, I'm fine. I don't care. You know, you still don't want to. But don't let the fear or those what ifs hold you up from really finding out what happens. So just make the call. And I always say, do whatever you have to do to get them there. If I have a dream team, and let's say I have Wendy holding my dream team, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get them there. So there were some friends that were like, psh, you're crazy. I'm like, I don't care. Come anyway. You have to fill a seat. I need 5 people there. You know, I can say that to certain friends. Other ones, I'm like, please just do me a favor. I'll pray on their niceness. And they'll be like, okay, fine, I'll go. You know, or I know this is for them. I will do whatever. Okay, you need product? I'll give you product. What do you want? What do you want to come to this event? You tell me and I'll make it happen. I just need seat fillers. Say whatever you want. We always joke, I always say, just get them to the church. That's like what we say in church, you know, just get them to the church, let the preacher do the rest. It's kind of that same mindset. Get them in front of people. It's not your job to educate them with everything yet, but you'll get there after 3 or 4 times of hearing Wendy or your upline do it. Then you're like, oh, okay, I'm comfortable enough, and we kind of baby step into that. But cram those first 30 days. That's why I tell my team, if you want on my calendar, then you need to be the first to call me. So let them know your dates up front and fill them and get them in front of them. So hopefully that helps. Does that make sense?
And everybody, you're not expecting everybody to be like I guess everybody's a potential business partner, but
that's my number one goal. So when
you're kind of looking at, when
yes.
you look at people, like I have people at work that are like maybe interested in the skincare line, but I don't know that they'd necessarily be interested in the business, but I guess you just never
don't
rule
know
that out because
No.
they might be.
Because none of us were interested in the business.
Right.
You know, like, I would never have done, in fact, on my launch party, after everybody left, Kim said, I want you to keep your eye on your friend Jen, because she would be great, you know, she's interested. And I was like, there's no way, she'd never do it. 2 months later, she was signed up with a different company because I didn't see that. I just figured there's no way she would do something like this.
And I see that over and over and over. My brother, you know, he's done the business for a while, him and his sister, and I told him the same thing with the lady. And they're just a totally established family that it's kind of like his mentor. And I said, she would be awesome. She would never do anything like this. I just texted him last week, guess who just signed up for a new network marketing company with skincare and cosmetics? And he was like, what? I said, you have no idea. So my job is not to try and figure out who it's for, it's to present it to everybody and leave it up to them. And the timing, I'm freed up with the timing. I'm not worried about at a party what happens. I go home and I'm like, okay, I did what I'm supposed to do. The rest will happen. And it trickles out into all these places. So, to answer your question really quickly, when I go through my list, I start with the business. So I call them and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want you to hear about this. Would you come to this night? And if they're like, oh, I'm busy. I try and have 2 nights. Would you come to this night? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy. Oh, well, I have 1 more this night. Could you come to that? Oh, no, sorry, I'm busy. Okay, totally understand. Would you have a few friends over and let me come practice on you? So then I just ask them to have a party and get me in front of their friends. Oh, I'm really busy, December's crazy. Okay, that's fine. Can I drop off some product and get your feedback? I really value your opinion. I would love to hear what you think. Then I've dropped off a set. And if they say no to that, they are not my friend anymore. But I could ask for referrals even then. Okay, I totally understand. If you think of anybody, let me know. I love to, reward people for referring people to me. But normally, again, I start out with that business because that is life-changing for them and for you. A lipstick sale, nothing for them or for you, really. Mm-hmm. So it's like I start with the business and it will trickle down and something else will happen. So my business is built on, which we, by the way, hit halfway to nation this month, is built on
just a little thing.
Business builders and parties and reorders. It's all of that combined. But I don't try and guess, oh my gosh, I need 3 areas, right? It's like I just put people in the pipeline and let them fall where they will. So your job is just to continually fill that pipeline and then let them fall where they will. But get them in front of people. So start with that party, and then if they can't go, ask them to have one, and then ask to drop off product. And somewhere, if you cram that in those 30 days, I say equate it to riding a bike up a hill. Your first 30 days should be that backside of the hill. And then you should be able to coast for a while. And that's how this business is. So I'm like, okay, I want to work really, really hard for 30 days and get everybody in place and have this solid momentum going. And once that momentum's going, it's fun, it's easy, and people are attracted to it. Once you start this commotion, people will start asking you what you're doing instead of you asking them. So. And then the reason, again, to always have people going, we'll kind of start about talking about getting somebody started, and we're almost done with this part. But so getting somebody started, again, I want to set them up for success. So I'm like, let's sit down, let's get your order in. The reason I said that I want them in the system within 24 to 48 hours, this is what I've learned from experience. If I don't get them in the system within 24 to 48 hours, they will talk themselves out of it.
It happens to me over and over again. And it just happened to me last night. I had 2 people that were ready to do the boot camp. I was ordering their stuff. And she called me and she was like, oh, we just had to get 4 new tires for our car. Oh gosh. I was like, no.
Yeah.
But it's totally my fault because it was from the day before Thanksgiving. She told me she wanted to do it then. And I should have just done it then.
We've all been that same place. I've had people, I had one of my top 5 people that I wanted to do this business that owned her own business, just amazingly successful, was like, I want to do this business. We sat down, started to get her in the computer, it went down, I was like, oh, I'll get you in tonight. The day went by, the next day I call her, I'm like, oh, let's get, you know what, I don't think I'm going to do this. And I was like, oh, if I would, because what I have found that happens, it's not that I'm trying to get their order. I am trying to get them to move forward. Until they're committed, they can always talk themselves out of it. Once they've signed up, they start moving forward. Themselves, mentally, they start saying, I'm doing this business, and they start moving forward instead of trying to talk themselves out of it. So that's why we say 24 to 48 hours. As soon as somebody's interested, they are in the system. Because if they want to go back later, I can deal with that. But it's harder to move them forward if they say, oh, you know, and they will try and talk themselves out of it, and their family will. And I let them know that. You know, you're going to get some naysayers right up front. It's okay. That's part of this business. But you just have to keep your eye on the prize 5 years down the line. You have to be so, yeah, 24 hours I meant, Jihan. But that's always what I told myself is I don't care how this affects me right now. I care how this affects me in 5 years. The person sitting in front of me, what can I do to help them and help them see success and keep their eye on that prize? Because that one-time sale means nothing. But that business partner means everything in those 5 years. So 24 to 48 hours, I will tell you, because we will all, and it will happen. And if it happens and they talk themselves out, you bless it and release it and you just keep moving. You just realize that's part of the industry, you know? But you learn from every single thing. Everything I've gone, oh my gosh. Like that lady, I guarantee you, that will never happen again. When they're ready, we are in the system right away. So, just embrace every part of this journey. There's not necessarily a negative and a positive to each of them. It's just what happens. And everybody's journey is different. Some are faster, some are slower. But you do want to try and set them up for success. So again, my favorite phrase we always say is, your job is to make their story exciting and amazing. You know, so I'm like, ooh, I want, in those first 30 days, I want them to have a story. In 30 days, I want them to be able to say something to their family and friends. And then the same within a year, I want them to see a paycheck, or I want them to see a bigger one, you know, whatever it is, you're building that story for them. So I help them place their order. This is the beauty of network marketing. I sometimes will be like, oh, I don't know if I can book 8 events, but oh my gosh, I have a brand new business builder. Guess what they're gonna do?
Book 8 events.
Book 8 events, and I'm gonna go help them do all 8 events. Would you rather be on the phone booking yourself or helping somebody else fill their calendar? And then you teach them to do that same thing. Hold your first event, have your dream team, hopefully 2 or 3 or even at least 1 want to do this. Then you can pour into that person and you can make them successful. And that's your calendar. So for me, I would much rather be helping somebody than working on my own stuff all month. It's much more fun to pour into people. So I start over again every month and I'm like, okay, I'm all excited. Every month I'm like, okay, who is it? I'm waiting. That's what every single month I'm like, waiting, who is it? And then I'm like, oh, here we go, it's Athena, or it's Christy, or it's Wendy. You know, and then I'm like, okay, yay, let's get you going. So that's what I want each of you to do. All you're doing is you're getting yourself to district and you're teaching somebody else to do the same. And then you're getting them somebody. So we say go as far down that line as you can. So like when, let's say I sign up Athena and I'm like, okay, Athena, I want you to go book 8. And Athena has her first event, which this actually happened. And her friend, who she said would never do the business, said, I want to do the business. And we went home actually that night and thought it was a 0 party or very low. And it ended up being over $1,000 with 2 business, 1 business builder for sure, 1 consultant, and a couple PCs, I think.
One PC, yeah.
One PC. And so then from that, her friend Tammy says, I want to do the business. So she's like, okay, let's have you get together some friends and, you know, call them and we'll see what we can get going. And from that, she had 2 friends that said, I want to do this business. So you say, okay, I want you two to go book as many events as you can in the next 30 days. Do you see what I'm saying? How it just keeps going down that line? And I'm training whoever is at the end of that line. And we're all training together.
Can I just reiterate too, for people that are brand new, like if you have your dream team next week and 3 people say, okay, I'm ready, it's not your job to train them.
Right.
It's not your job to train them. And I've watched my sponsor, Shannon's sponsor, who were new in the business and got a new business builder right away, and then they freaked out because they were like, I can't train somebody, I'm just starting myself. That's not your job. It's not your job.
Whose job is it, Wendy?
Your
got me
upline.
suspense.
It's your upline.
Oh, it's your upline. It's your upline to help you and your new business builders get started all at once.
Okay. Awesome.
So what we try and do is, and me too, I will do as many with you guys as well. But it's like I tell them, I'm like, you guys try and book together. Or over here at my house. I love that because I can keep my party set up and I can have as many events here as we can have, you know?
It's too small.
If you want to have it over here, call me. We'll have it over here. But I'm like, I will just keep it set up and just have as many as we can. And like these next 2 months, like I just told my family, I was like, this is going to be fun. We're going to work really hard for the next 2 months and then we go to Mexico for a week. You know, and that's the great thing is that's how you can work this business. So I hope you all get a bunch up front and you go, let's just work this really hard together for the next few months and get our legs underneath us and get going. And then it's much easier to maintain. So like from them down, I'm like, let's all try and get together as many at a time, and they're all being trained at each party or at each one-on-one. You know, when we do one-on-ones, there might be 3 of us or 4 of us, but they're all being trained at that same time. And wouldn't you rather your upline be training them than you training each one at a time? Get 3 or 4 together. Train them all at the same time. That's the beauty of this business. Work smart, not hard. So that's how you duplicate. I get myself to district manager by finding somebody else that wants to get to district manager. And I'll cover those numbers in 1 second, and then we'll be done. I want to make sure I've covered all of these. So we get them started, we get their list going, we get their dates on the calendar. Then I'll sometimes help them once they've placed their order and booked their dates. Those are the key. Then I might help them get their paperwork set up. Like this is my work bag. Athena actually just took this home and copied them. But I have like my presentation book and my business binder. So I can either give them these, it's all on my website. Everything is on there. And that's the thing I want you guys to get to is if they want to be successful, everything is, it's not your job to make them successful. I give them the tools, it's on the website, they're going to find it if they want or get it if they want and copy it. So, but this would be secondary. I can sit and help them put their bags together. I usually carry 1 business bag and 1 product bag to every event. And there's reasons for that too that your upline will go through. Make it easy. Everything should be simple in this business and duplicatable. So, yes.
Well, just in terms too of like what Wendy was talking about, how it's like not your job to train somebody. And I've had a bunch of people come along who, I don't know if they're like scared to call me or like they don't want to bother me. And I'm like, no, like I want to do this, like call me every day if you want to. And, you know, that's what I did with Wendy in the beginning. And even now, like I call her almost every day. And like, we want people coming to us. And I think that that's like a hard thing to think about in the beginning.
It is. But you know, the beauty of that, what you said, is that's what I watch for. So I share the opportunity with a ton of people every month. My goal is 40 to 50 people a month. That's like, you know, 10 people at an event, quickly done, or a bunch of one-on-ones, however you want to do that. But I try and share the opportunity with that, and then I wait. And guess who gets my attention? Who is calling me every single day? Wendy called me every single day. Athena was calling me. Christy was calling me. All 3 of them. I had a lot of people sign up in between there. Those were the 3 that got my attention because they were calling me. And there's kind of a mental checklist that I have. Everybody wants to do this business. usually, not everybody, but you know what I mean. A lot of people want this opportunity. Who is really willing to work for the opportunity? Those are the ones I'm looking for. So we do say we throw them in a funnel, you know, we put them in that pipeline, and then I wait to see who, that we say the cream rises to the top. And I kind of have a mental checklist. So just because you tell me you're a business builder, and this is a great point, I'm glad you brought it up, Holly. Just because you tell me you're a business builder doesn't mean you really are. So I'm looking for the ones that really are. If Polly tells me she's a business builder but has booked nothing, has never called me, hasn't placed an order, do you think they're really a business builder? Probably not, you know? And not saying that they won't pop up later, but that's not their timing. So I match effort with effort. And I do kind of have a mental checklist. Like people attending this, that's one of my first clues that these are serious business builders. There's a lot more people that could have been here tonight and should have been here tonight. If they're not, to me that kind of goes, they might be telling me they're a business builder, but I might be really putting them on the hostess burner, is really what